Hi and welcome to this video in which we'll talk about the one and only show Westworld. Westworld was a show that was filled with mysteries and questions, which was all mostly answered in the last 2 episodes. But one question remained, which is, where is Westworld? So come with me in this video in which we will not only answer this question, but many more questions. First, let us collect everything we knew about Westworld from the show. Number 1. It's round. Completely, perfectly round. Number 2. It looks like a desert. It's dry and has many mountains and many mesas. Number 3. It has a very, very stable weather. There are no winds, no rains, no clouds. It's always dry and sunny. Number 4. And this is something that we didn't know from the show, but we knew from an interview with the creative writer of the show, Jonathan Nolan. And it is the size of Westworld. It's huge, 500 square miles. Number 5, and this is also something that we did not know from the show, but we knew from the official site of Westworld. And in this site, in the page of terms and conditions, we read a sentence that means that there is no law in Westworld, which means it's not under the authority of any government or any country, which means that Delos is the higher authority in Westworld. So from all of this, we know that Delos is a perfectly round 500 square miles controlled weather land that has no law. So where could we find this place? And here comes the most common theories to explain where it is. Number 1, it's on Mars. And this theory can be easily debunked. First, it's true that Mars is still not under any authority, so there is no law there, but why a completely round? I can choose any mass of land in any shape. How can I control the weather? And we know sometimes in Mars there are huge thunderstorms. And last, how could I justify an 8 months departure to stay maximally for 1 month and an 8-month arrival in a total of 16 months voyage for a 1-month trip? And this becomes more obvious from this picture, from a scene in the show in which we see the Delos company logo written on a model of Earth in the lower compartments. Second, why isn't Westworld an island, which Delos could have bought from a country? But by easily Googling the size of islands in this world, we will discover that the size of the Westworld, which is 500 square miles, is neither near to the largest or the second largest islands. And even if there was an island with this size, still it will be under the law of its country. Second, and even if it's an island, there is no perfectly round islands. Third, how could you control the weather again? And fifth, which is something that we knew from the official site of Delos, that all the livestock, which mean the living creatures in Westworld, are hosts, which means robots, except for the flies. So if it was an island, you would have to kill all life forms in the island. So we conclude from all this that Westworld is not on Mars, it's on Earth, and it cannot be an island, and it cannot be in any country. So where is it? We can easily answer this question if we take a closer look on two clues. Number one, it has controlled weather, and you cannot control a weather in a certain place until it's completely isolated from its surrounding, which means you have to be inside a closed area, a closed round area, like a dome. Yes, a dome. And you build this dome in a place that is very far away from all countries of the world. And where can we find a place that is very far away from all the countries and not under the control of any government, at the center of the oceans, in the international waters? So, Westworld is a dome in the international waters, under the sea, an underwater dome. So, let us collect all the clues that prove this theory. Number one, it's round. It's obvious. All the lands under a dome, which is a half ball in shape, must be round. Second, it's controlled weather. When you build a dome on the floor of the ocean and you bump all the water outside, it will be dry, there would be no wind and no rain, and it will always be controlled weather. And because it's international waters, so it's very large, so you can build a very huge dome, and it will be under no laws. But still, there is more clues that prove this theory. From the official site of Delos, we find in the terms and conditions page 3 words. First, the entry of Westworld is called a port. The outside lands is called the mainland. And before you leave Westworld, you must visit a decompression chamber, which they call Mesa Gold. And all these clues prove the theory. So let's imagine when you want to go to Westworld, you go to a port, and not any port, but a port train station, in which you get on a hyperloop underwater train that enters the dome of Westworld. That's why in the cross-section of the Delos office map, we find that the arrival monotrain terminal is not at the top, but at the base of the offices, which is the level of the ocean floor. Number 2, all the lands outside Westworld are called mainland because Westworld is an artificial dry land, and all other lands are the main dry lands. Third, the decompression chamber. And here, to understand what is a decompression chamber, we must understand that underwater dome is like a underwater settlement. And there are 2 types of underwater settlements, open and closed. And in a closed underwater settlement, you don't need a decompression chamber because the pressure inside this settlement is the same as the atmospheric pressure. But in an open underwater settlement, you need to have decompression chambers before ascending to the mainland. So we understand from this that Westworld is an open underwater settlement, and open underwater settlements have sea-water contact. So how could this be? We can see this here from a map of Westworld in which we see a sea. This means that this sea-water transfers the pressure of the underwater into the dome, which requires from all the residents before ascending to enter a decompression chamber. This is all good, but we want to get a little bit more exact. We want to know where this dome is. And also the answer is very easy. And if we go back to the same scene from the cold storage facilities to see the Delos logo on the Earth map, and if we take a closer look at this map of Earth and where is the Delos logo written, it is only one place, and it is the Pacific Ocean. And this also can be supplemented by a quick Google search which proves that there is many mountains under the Pacific Ocean, and not also this, but many guyots. Guyots, which is a flat-topped mountain underwater, which if it is a dry land, it would look like a mesa. And this also explains why there is a samurai world. Because when you are in the Pacific Ocean, at the right you have the Americas and you have the European nations, so you have the Westworld for their culture. But on the left you have Japanese and the Chinese nation, so you have the samurai world for their culture. So from this overwhelming clues, we can only predict that Westworld is an underwater dome in the international waters of the Pacific Ocean, built by the company Delos for the Americans and for the Asian nations. And if all this teasing weren't enough, the brilliant creators of the show were throwing the answer in our face every time we watch the show in the intro, in which we see a close-up on an eye, then we see mountains on the iris. But if we take a closer look, we will see mountains under a crystal dome. And not once, but 3 times in every intro of every episode of the show, making it true. The closer you look, the less you see. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, like, comment and share, and see you in the next one. Bye.